What's cracking, guys? Omar Yusuf here, back with another video. In this video today, we're talking all about chest training. Yes, that time, once again, of the year, I am moving more towards a little bit of a hypertrophy block. I want to talk about my 3 favorite movements, how to organize your chest training. Probably my most well-known muscle group, probably because it looks like an ass crack. I'm going to talk about the 3 major movements, essentially how you split up chest training. There's 3 different components. The first would be some sort of horizontal movement. The second would be some sort of incline movement. Both would be compound. Why add an incline movement? Simply because the upper pec, the clavicular head, needs a little bit more extra stimulation. So point number 2, why actually have an incline movement? The upper pec should be trained slightly differently than the rest of your pec. It probably doesn't get enough love and attention from a normal bench press. So you got to select some sort of horizontal press, so that could be a bench press, close grip bench press, floor press, dumbbell press, any of those. The second would be some incline movement, so you could do the incline bench press, the low incline, which is my favorite, the low incline dumbbell press. Something like that would be the incline movement. And then lastly, you do want to do an isolation movement. Why? Well, you want to remove the deltoid and the tricep, especially if you're someone that's more limb dominant. That means that you do the bench press and you feel a lot in your tricep, you feel a lot in your shoulder, but you don't feel a lot in your chest. So you need to do 3 different movements. 2 compound, so a flat variation. You need to do then also an incline variation for the clavicular head. And then lastly, you should be doing some sort of isolation movement. I'm going to show you my 3 favorite for each of those groups and then give a general recommendation. The first I am going to select for the overall general movement for chest training, the bench press. Why? Well, most people can get some sort of training effect out of the bench press, but it's really maybe not the most important chest growth exercise you'll be doing. That is because it is a compound movement you use heavily, especially if you use a powerlifting setup, which I do recommend, your triceps and your deltoids. But consider this the overload movement, because this is the movement you can most safely lift the most amount of weight. So while it might not stimulate the pec the most for you in particular, especially if you're struggling to grow your chest, it is still important. It should be the cornerstone of your training. It allows you to lift the most amount of weight when it comes to training your chest. So the flat barbell bench press, for that very reason, allows you to overload with the most amount of weight. I would recommend a lower rep range, so something like a 5x5 to begin your workout. You would start with a flat barbell press, still incorporate that powerlifting style, so you get that arch, you get tight. Me personally, that's also probably why I always experience significant chest growth when it comes to the barbell bench press. My hands are a little bit wider than normal, so instead of having maybe a little wider than shoulder width, it's several inches wider. And then also where I touch a little bit higher. Where you touch the bar, where your elbow position is, will dictate how much chest stimulation you get. You want to have a healthy mix between optimizing for chest hypertrophy, so that means maybe a little bit of a wider grip, bar a little bit higher, making sure when you press that your elbows are in line with your wrists, as well as optimizing how much you lift. So number 1 would be the barbell bench press. Number 2 would be the incline bench press. This one, you could easily sub out with the low incline bench press. The problem with the low incline bench press, much like the seal row, they're fantastic movements. They just take a lot of time to set up. You need to find an adjustable bench. You need to find a rack. You need to set it up so it'd be on the low incline. You can mimic that when it comes to normal incline bench press. I'll show you. I'm going to do the incline bench press with an added twist. Like I kind of talked a little bit before about that. So what you want to do, you want to lie flat on the incline, and then you want to get a little bit of that arch. That arch is going to help lower the total incline of the movement. So it's going to decrease the incline, allow you, once again, to stimulate more of the upper chest as opposed to the deltoids. Think about it. It's kind of a continuum. So you start first with the flat, you move all the way up. You could go all the way around, but you move all the way up to 90 degrees. That'd be more shoulder stimulation. 45 degrees, so an incline bench is a healthy mix of both. If you could reduce that incline slightly by arching your back on the incline bench press, you'll probably stimulate your upper pec a little bit more. The other quick cues, once again, would be selecting a slightly wider grip than normal, than you're normally used to when it comes to the bench press, as well as bringing the bar a little bit higher on your chest. So instead of maybe bringing it to around your nipple, bringing it a little bit higher, maybe an inch higher, and seeing if that makes a significant difference. Those 2 factors, really, you stick with the fundamentals, but how you change them, how you, let's say, alter the grip position, where the bar touches your body, will make a significant difference. So those are the 2 important compound movements. Next, you have to select some sort of isolation movement. You could do a chest fly, like dumbbell. You could do a cable, incline, flat. You could also do, quite frankly, push-ups because they're body weight movement. Incline push-ups, for myself, I've talked about this before, my favorite isolation movement when it comes to the chest, the upper pec as well as the overall pec would be the low to high cable fly. I gotta give a quick shout out to Dr. Clay Height. He was the person I first read about when it came to this movement. Being perfectly honest, the dumbbell fly never felt great on my chest. I wanted to build a chest, I had to find some sort of movement. I like the cable because you could feel that constant tension. You want to start low to high when you bring it up, so it kind of moves almost in a 45-degree angle. Make sure the palms face up at that peak contraction. You want to make sure also you're flexing your chest. The barbell movement, so the first movement, the compound horizontal press, that's your strength movement, so you do a 5x5. When it comes to the second movement, the incline, so you can do that on a separate day. That's more hypertrophy, so you alter the movement to maximize hypertrophy, slightly wider grip, bar a little bit higher. And then lastly, when it comes to the isolation movement, it's all about trying to feel it in that area. Low to high, cable fly is my favorite chest isolation variation. Why? Well, not only does it stimulate the overall pec, it also stimulates the upper pec. So we would do that. You do 10 to 15 repetitions, 3 to 4 sets, making sure on every single rep you bring it high. You could bend your elbows slightly, squeezing with the pec. That for me would be kind of, quite frankly, overall complete pec development. You could alter it from there. You train it 2 times per week. How many working sets would you do for the chest? I'd recommend anywhere kind of like Dr. Mike Israetel, 12 to 20 total working sets. So if you do a 5x5 on the bench press, that's 5 sets. If you do 4 sets on a second day on the incline, that's 9 sets. If you do low to high cable flies, after each session, 3 sets. Now you're at 15 sets. That's probably good to start. You can see how your chest grows from there, and then maybe add an additional movement. So wherever you're legging, if you find your overall pec is legging, maybe another horizontal movement. So you could do a close grip bench press, a floor press. If you find on the other hand that this is growing down here, but the upper pec just doesn't seem to grow, then you can add in another incline movement or another isolation movement. But overall chest training, this is literally exactly what I did throughout the years in order to grow my chest. You have to be scientific, you have to be methodical when it comes to your training. You can't haphazardly try and grow a chest. Do these 3 movements. These are my favorite picks of each of the 3 different, essentially, chest movements you should be doing. Horizontal, incline, and then an isolation movement. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you like this video, we're out here filming at midnight, trying to provide high quality content. Missed even the first snowfall of the year, Alice. Is that not true?
That's true.
It's tragic. It is honestly tragic. Alice is currently crying. If you like the video, make sure to like the damn video. And I'll be seeing all you guys, my rascals, in that next video.